Hello, everybody. This is Martha Hines with Living the One Light. So, I am being asked by the spirit world to make a video that'll probably be a part one to at least to part two. There will probably be at least a part two, maybe more, um, to give some perspective and tips on how to navigate this time that is highly Uranian. Um, so I'm recording this video on February 6th, 2024. And what's going on astrologically right now is that Jupiter is everything's going direct. So Jupiter's going direct in Taurus and it's heading toward its conjunction, the conjunction it's going to make with Uranus in Taurus, about 20 degrees of Taurus in April. And as Jupiter is building toward that conjunction, and Uranus has just gone direct also, this time is what I would call a highly Uranian time. Plus, actually, as I'm recording this, we're also coming up to a new moon in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So in this moment that I'm recording this video, it's, so many Uranian energies happening. And at the same time, another energy that is going on that's not necessarily all that astrological, it's more astronomical, is that I talked about this in a previous video, and other people, Pam Gregory and lots of other people talk about this, that the sun is in the time of its own cycle where it has it's much more active, so it's giving out many more solar flares, et cetera, et cetera. And actually, it has this regular cycle of being more quiet and then being more active and being more quiet and being more active. And it is building toward its time of being the most active in that cycle. But what I read when I was researching the sun cycle is that actually the level of activeness is higher than the average highest active level. Is that making sense? So it's peaking in its activity level, but its peak is much higher than its average peak. So, and again, I've spoken to this in a previous video, but what that combination is doing is, the really increased sun activity in combination with this highly Uranian time, and probably other things I'm not even thinking of. It can be a time that both can be incredibly beautiful and healing and really supporting us to come into our direct, complete alignment with ourselves as the divine, as our soul selves. Lots of people can be having lots of awakening experiences, that kind of thing. And at the same time, though, it can also be a time when even just physiologically, just from that the sun's increased activity and all of that, it can, for people especially who maybe are very, very sensitive, which probably you are if you're listening to me, I definitely am. We can have increased anxiety, difficulty sleeping. These are all typical things stereotypical things that lots of us hear people talking about, but it's truly a physiological thing in addition to, it's not just a woo-woo thing. It's a real physical thing that can be going on. And another thing that I think is really important to speak to is that another sort of difficult side of this is, as people are genuinely having major awakening experiences, that's not necessarily an enjoyable or even a safe experience. So it's meant to be safe. I mean, it's not a bad thing to awaken. That's, I think, what a lot of us are here to do. And at the same time, though, if it's not held in a very grounded, trauma-informed way, it can be very destabilizing. People can go into psychosis. People can, really, I mean, truly, truly have a hard time. People can become manic. People, all kinds of things. So, yeah. So in this part number one, what the spirit world is really wanting me to speak to, and I think I'll just channel so that I can let them speak, is, part one that they're really wanting me to name is some tips about how to integrate body with spirit, how to integrate the reality that we are both Taurus, Earth, and Uranus, the intelligence, the electricity, the energetic, the kundalini of the divine, the source light of everything. And then part two, what I'll do in another video, whenever, maybe next week or whenever they guide me to do it, sometime in the next few weeks. Part two is then about something you could maybe consider more fun in a sense, but I think part one can be fun too. But part two is really about, one of the ultimate possibilities in this time is that we can come into our own personal, unique, your own way of experiencing and being with the web, the intelligence of the divine, the web of the intelligence of the divine. So there's a way of perceiving things and a way of shifting your awareness and your way of being with life that is then in concert with the actual actual web of existence, as opposed to what we're used to doing. Most of us, maybe not you, but most of us are used to more of a linear way of thinking. So I'll just give like a tiny little preview of that, because I was originally thinking I was going to make a video on part two, and then they were like, no, slow down. Part one needs to come first, because part one is really crucial to get to part two. Okay. So I'll give you a little preview of what I'm talking about with part two. So for example, and again, this is different for every person, so I'll speak to just the way I do this. But for example, when I am making a decision about the timing of something, or like for example, if I'm praying on when should I, or what, well, first of all, I ask, what is mine to do in general? So then maybe I get shown to hold a certain series, like the astrology course I'm holding, or the Divine Blueprint series. So I get shown that visually. That's a very Uranian thing. It's like to get visual, like a vision of it. But then I'll ask to see the timing of it. And the way that it happens for me is that I get shown again a visual of the circle of time of like the year. But the key part here is that not so much about the visual part, it's the key is that what they're wanting me to convey in the part two, we'll get there eventually, is that there is a web of divine light that's the intelligence. It's a way of tapping into the actual intelligence of all things. And again, there's not only one way, but it's just the way that they want me to name. So when we are, let's say, making a decision about when to plan something, again, typically we think in linear time, we think in linear logic, and so we'll say, oh, I want to plan a trip to Hawaii next month or something, and maybe you'll see it in your mind, or I'll see it in my mind, like step A, step B, step C, and it's a linear projection I'm visualizing in my head. But if I switch into this other way of being, that's much more of this Jupiter conjunct Uranus potential, there's another way of interfacing with the web of life that it's like a sinking into this literal grid of light. And again, I'm going to let them channel. When I do part two, I'm going to channel and I will just let them describe it in the way they want to, because it's so hard to put into words. But so then when I sink into that web of life, in a sense, then it's like I sink into this, I tap into a totally different place of knowing that's not coming from my logical brain so much. It's tapping into this intelligence that has the sense of everything. And I'm not going to be cognizant of everything, but that is cognizant of everything. So it can show me, don't go to Hawaii next week or next month. Hang on, wait, or like, for example, last June, I was shown the vision of doing the Astrology 101 course. And I had a lot of people sign up last summer, 6 months ahead. And because so many people were already so interested, I kept asking in my prayers, well, why wait until early 2024? Why not go ahead and get started? And when I would just interface, sort of sink into that web of that divine intelligence, I would just get shown, no, the divine timing. It's like I would just get shown the whole web. The divine timing is here on the grid, right? And the place on the grid that it exists is to start early February 1st or 2nd, is what they said, 2024. Like, it's great that people are already interested. That helps you to know that, it needs to happen. Let them sign up and, maybe interact ahead of time, which is what I did with the people who signed up early. But the official start date needs to be February 1st or 2nd. So it was February 1st. Because there's something that I don't consciously understand that is known by that greater web of life, that's the precise right timing for the light of that course to anchor into the grid of what exists. Does that make sense? So that's going to be part two, like the how to do that and the whatever the spirit world wants to say about that. But a key component before we get to part two is this, what they're actually saying to me, and again, I'm going to let them talk in a sec, is that we have had Uranus and Taurus since 2018. But and so Uranus is in a sign for a good number of years. And now Taurus is about 2/3 done with its time in Taurus. Uranus is about 2/3 done with its time in Taurus. So it's been there since 2018. It's going to be there for another, couple of years? Not that long, actually. Year and a half, 2 years. I know this. But anyway, so we're getting toward the end of our time in Uranus and Taurus. And what they're saying to me is that something that maybe we haven't done yet, that we have the opportunity, and they really need us to do while Uranus is in Taurus, is for us to fully integrate our self as body and light as one, to integrate ourselves as earth and light as one. Because as we do that, there's this beautiful, beautiful letting go of so much conditioning that has come in the recent centuries, where we've split spirit and body, even mind and body. So when we really embrace our bodies and the intelligence of our bodies and the sensuality of ourselves and the enjoyment, Taurus is about enjoyment and contentment with the simplicity of physical life and enjoyment of ourselves as earth. When we're able to, so what they're saying is when we're able to integrate the reality that we are light in bodies, then a whole different world opens up. And that's really, really, really key. So key. And it helps us then um to nourish our nervous system. Uranus rules the nervous system. And actually Jupiter is going to be entering Gemini later this year in May of 2024, which again is going to highlight the need to really nourish the nervous system, because Gemini is also related to the nervous system, just in a slightly different way. Yeah, all right. So I'm going to let them speak just briefly. Yeah, and if you want more support on this part one, I actually do have I have some free resources and some other resources that I will link in the description of the video here. So yeah, I have various things that I can share with you, and I will link all of them here so you can see what they are. Yeah, all right. Okay, hello, beautiful beings. So yes, we are really here to emphasize, almost to plead, that you take this time, take this opportunity, as you're leading into the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. This is really a very unusual and very needed, very necessary time of building into a deep knowing of yourself as earth and light as one. So as you anchor into yourself as source and earth, and you become more and more awakened to the ultimate divine blueprint that is you, and the reality of who you are on a soul level, it is absolutely key that you're letting go of this notion that has been so prevalent that there's something separate about spirit and earth, that to be body is to be bad, or to enjoy your time on earth means that you're not spiritual in some way. So these are not separate, of course. So in the time that the age of Pisces has been prevalent, there's been this very strong detachment, or emphasis on the detachment between body and light. And that served certain purpose, maybe. But in this time, it is absolutely key, absolutely crucial that you bring back your relationship to body and light as one. So there's a need, in a sense, to be embracing, making love to yourself as Earth, to Earth herself, to let the light of the body of Earth and the body of Earth be in co-creative enjoyment, breathing light and Earth as one more and more deeply on a cellular level, on a subatomic particle level. There's been this message that you need to hold them separately, light and Earth, far away from each other. But that's the opposite of reality. That's the opposite of truth. So we invite you on a daily basis. Start with very, very simple things. And now, as Saturn is actually moving through Pisces, Saturn is also supporting you to be getting the structures that you need to, again, be both earth and spirit as one. So we invite you even just to notice, what is your body needing? What is your body saying? And just the act of noticing that is huge. You can choose to write it down or not. And then every day, do anything you possibly can to focus on the nourishment of your body, your physical body, your nervous system, of course, your emotional body too. We really encourage you to be getting enough sleep, be feeling in your own cells, in the light of your body. What nourishment does it need from food, water, what kind of foods? To be connecting with light, with food and water that is very filled with light. That's, a mix of light and earth as one, just like you. And also hopefully to be experiencing sunlight. And we speak about a lot of these same tips in the Gaia Speaks book, channeled by Martha as well, several years ago. And we also finally want to emphasize nourishing of your nervous system. So again, this will be different for every person, but you might want to notice what truly serves your nervous system. Whether it's certain kind of herbal teas or choosing to maybe have less caffeine if you're feeling anxiety, or choosing to drink a lot of water. Again, nourishing foods, giving yourself time to sleep when you are truly tired, treating your body as the temple that it literally is. So your body is infusing with light. So when your body is speaking, it is the light speaking. It's intelligence as your body. And we deeply honor and respect this intelligence. And we're almost begging that you will honor and respect this intelligence of yourself as well. And maybe you already do, which is wonderful. Maybe there's a way that you could listen and honor it even more and more deeply in the coming months. Or maybe you just simply enjoy it. That could be one way of honoring it, is just to enjoy life as body, life as earth, the sensuality of it, the healthy, sacred sexuality of it, just the pleasure of being hearing rain, smelling fresh air, maybe being with pets or other loved ones. And so many other things that your body may speak and know that are just right for you. And so it is. Amen. Thank you so much for being here and for listening. All right. Wonderful. Tell me how that is for you. Tell me how it's feeling in these times. Yeah. And if you want more resources or more support, those are going to be linked here with this video. And I'll be back for part 2 soon. And if you have any other questions, if something comes to mind that could be a part 3 or a part 4, let me know that too. Those are the 2 parts that are, immediately being told to me by the spirit world right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a part 3 and a part 4. Maybe you already have a sense of what that is. All right, wonderful. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel and you resonate with these videos, I would love for you to subscribe. Love for you to comment, like, share, all of those things. Wonderful. See you soon.